Richard, tell me about this fan you've got. This goes along with the steam engines, the ploughing engines, does it?
Yeah, this is what they live in while they're out. They would.
The gangs would work
when they got a contract.
Yeah.
They would all go, and this would be where they would live.
Okay, and Peter's already telling me there was 5 of them in that vehicle, and obviously one ploughing engine would tow this behind it, and one would tow the plough behind it to each job.
Yeah,
that's correct. Yes. So, what sort of accommodation inside this? Is it like a bed, a bunk beds, or something like that? Is it?
There's just some seating.
Yeah.
Which you just fold down.
Yep.
And they sleep on it.
Really?
So
and they lived on that all summer long, did they, or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Really? And did they have? I can see a small chimney sticking out the side of it. Yeah. And they had obviously during the winter time they had a boiler on it.
A cooker.
A cooker. Oh, a cooker.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And did you restore all this yourself?
No. I bought the van as it is.
Yeah.
And it was restored by a man called Mr. Whitehead, who's very well known in the steam fraternity.
Yeah.
And unfortunately he died, and I bought the living van.
Okay, and do you take that along with you to shows and everything, do you?
We haven't yet, but I do intend to.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
It's, that's the history, isn't it?
Yeah,
that fulfills the whole history. That fills the ploughing engines and the accommodation. That encompasses everything then, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. So it's quite high. Why would it be so high? What's the reason behind it?
It's preferable for it to have quite big wheels, because they often got into very muddy situations.
Yeah.
And they didn't want the whole thing sinking out of sight, so they obviously needed fairly large wheels.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's quite high was immaterial, really. I mean, there's just a set of steps that go against the door.
Really? And I can see the brake. Is that the brake, the one on the chain, is it? That.
That's actually not the brake. It's called a, what's it called, Peter? A slipper, isn't it?
Oh, slipper, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is that to go down hills?
Well, it is a brake.
Well, it stops it running away.
Well, it stops it. All it does is go under the wheel and stop it running away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it open? Oh, it's not open, so I can't look inside it anyway. But
it's a bit awkward.
yeah, it's a bit awkward. Anyway, perhaps another time. Let's move on to the plough anyway. Look at it. I mean, let me just scan underneath it, and it's just made so well, isn't it? It's not knocked up as they would do today, would it? It's properly made. Oh God, yes.
Yeah. When they came in from work, all soaking wet, probably.
Yep.
And the boy would have the fire going by.
It would be a young lad, wouldn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
He'd get a rollicking if it weren't the fire weren't on and the food weren't on the table, wouldn't he?
That's right. Yeah. He's
what age would that young lad would be? I suppose it'd be sort of early.
I don't know, sort of
12 years old, something like that.
It'd be more than that. So he had to spell the crews, so he'd be more than 12. I mean, he had quite a responsible job.
Really?
Well, I mean, he had to cook for them all and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought he would be as young as that.
Okay. So anyway, we move on to this plough you've got in front of me. Let me see if we've got. And you say it's a 4-furrow plough, Peter, is it?
That's the 4-furrow. The 5-furrow's over there.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about this plough then.
Well, it's what's known as a balance plough, and the cables from the engine are attached to the axle, and so obviously when the fire engine's pulling, it's going in this direction.
Yep.
The steersman sits on there, and he steers the plough with one wheel in the furrow.
Okay, as you would do with modern day tractors.
Yeah. Well, yes, there's no difference.
No.
And so it's known as a balance plough because it is actually balanced. And then the other plough, the 5-furrow plough, is what's called an anti-balance plough, which is where the axle actually moves forward in the frame of the plough, so it puts more weight on the end that's in work than the end that's out of work.
Okay.
And
This is where the cable runs.
well,
through?
that folds back,
Right.
and then the cable is just put in there, which is an added, putting the pressure on the plough. Would normally have 2 people on the plough, so the foreman probably would, when he wasn't doing anything else, would be sitting here, and obviously the steersman would sit there. Also, when it's going in one direction, the steering works in the opposite direction because the shafts are joined together.
Yeah.
So when you turn this wheel, that wheel turns, and so that's quite exciting after a beery lunch when you get on the plough and you steer it the wrong way, which
I can
has
imagine.
happened several times. I
can
assure
imagine.
you. Yeah.
So
yeah.
was this plough bought at the same time, or did you?
Yeah, they came with the engine.
Oh, they
yes.
come with the engine.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So you bought a complete set, really, didn't
Yes,
you?
yes, we did. Yes, yes. We didn't buy the living van that went with the engines. That's a separate one.
No.
But apart from that, which actually has been restored, the van.
Really?
It looks very nice.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up close and personal with him. So there's the other seat on the other end,
That's what yeah.
and the other steering.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like a seesaw, actually, then, really. So once you get to one end of the field, you pull the seesaw down.
That's right. And then back you go.
Sorry, yeah. And so it's a seesaw effect, and when you get to one end of the field, it goes down onto the other side, and then you start ploughing the other furrows.
Yeah.
So
yes.
really, when you think about modern ploughs today, they've got a turnover plough, don't they? Which, so they get to the end of the field, they spin the plough over, and they turn back the same way. It's very similar to this thing, really, isn't it? You haven't got to go around in a big circle or anything like that.
No, no.
Like with the Fergie players, like I have to do.
Run round plough, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, so it's quite modern for its age, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really quite something when it
Well,
first
as Peter said, 10 acres a day is quite a lot of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Would only big farms use these, Richard, or would?
No, contractors mainly. So that's what we were saying with the 5-man crew. They would be contractors going round to different farms because obviously the whole setup was very expensive.
Yeah.
And
So the small
farmer-
farmer wouldn't actually.
No, and he wouldn't have probably enough work to justify spending all that money
No.
in buying the whole tackle because they come. That's a harrow there. That they actually. So that's also one of the instruments. And then if we go down to look at the cultivator, you'll see how that operates as well.
Yeah.
And
Yes, I mean the average small mixed farmer wouldn't have the work for something like that, would he?
And also you need really convenient fields like East Anglia and areas like that,
Yeah.
where you've got large level fields.
I've
I mean,
the
West
Fens
Country.
or somewhere like that. The Fens would be
That's
ideal.
right.
wouldn't it?
That's right.
Where you've got acres and acres of flat land.
Yes, that's right. I mean, a West Country farmer wouldn't have any use for.
Or a
for
hill
something like-
farmer. I
No,
suppose,
exactly. But there's the. This is the 5-furrow plough here. And then you'll see, as I explained.
Oh, that's a lot bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll see where the axle moves in the frame here,
Yeah.
and so that's so as I say, the cable is attached to the axle, so it pulls the whole thing forward.
And this would your ploughing engines would be okay with this?
Yeah, and light soil. In light
Yes,
soil. You
yes,
won't want it in heavy soil.
On light soil, they'll handle it okay.
Yeah.
But
But not on clay or anything like that.
No, they struggle a bit with it.
Yeah. So it's basically a 4-furrow traction engine. Let's just scoot round and get a nice pan of. And is it a ransom or?
No, Was it?
Fowler, it's a
Fowler.
It's a
That's a
Fowler.
Fowler's.
Fowler, yeah.
Fowler's, 'cause
Yeah.
it's in ransom colours, that's the only reason I asked.
Well, Ransom's did make quite a lot of Fowler's
Okay then.
implements.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Because they had the setup in Ipswich, didn't they?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Richard and
Here's a cultivator.
Peter. Oh, we've got something else.
Oh yeah, well this is much used more than the ploughs.
Oh, really? Let's buzz over there then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a piece of engineering alone, isn't it?
And here you've got the cables attached, one cable onto here and one onto there. And this one actually turns through 180 degrees. So when you get to the end of the pull,
Yep.
the other engine pulls back on that side.
Yep.
It has got the a chain on the end of the wishbone there, which lifts the tines out of work.
Yep.
So that it also has got a bit on the steering as well. And then once you're lined up to go back, the pull the lever, and then the tines go back into the work again.
Oh, so you can only put it one way, can you?
Yes. Yes, right. Put it one way.
Okay,
and
so it's
then-
not sort of like pull one way, then the man spins round and drives it back the other way. It's
Yeah,
just-
it does spin around. That's what I just said.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I apologise.
Yeah.
It basically turns on itself then, turns on
Yeah.
the sixpence sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
God, blimey, you wouldn't want to get in the way of that, would you?
Well, you'd see it coming.
Yes, you would definitely see it coming. Well, thank you guys, I
Just
appreciate
one
that.
more thing before you go.
Okay, one more
Yeah.
thing.
These engines are still used today for dredging because there's no modern equivalent with that amount of cable underneath the drum, underneath the boiler. So of course they're ideal for dredging lakes.
Okay, so I'm going to move around because you're right in the light there and the camera's being blocked out by light. Sorry, you were saying about the use of the dredging, yeah?
Yeah, dredging lakes. Yes. My engine, which is elsewhere, that's been used on a couple of occasions commercially for dredging lakes.
Really?
Yes, and
Even
quite a
modern
lot.
day?
Yes, because there's no modern equivalent, and so some engines were converted to diesel, and some had diesel engines on the boilers, and some had some in the tenders.
Oh,
and
that's interesting.
Yes, but of course, obviously, we keep them as steam.
Yes.
And so yes. So if you ever want a lake dredged, let me know.
One of my lakes, yeah. Right. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Thanks ever so much for your time. I'll probably speak to you again shortly, Richard, but for
Well, I'm gonna have a
now,
cup of
thank
coffee.
you. Well, there you go. I'm going to end the video there on this part of the steam engines. Now, Richard and Peter have been really nice gentlemen, and they told me all about their stories of how they got hold of the engines and whatnot. Like I said, if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It's always appreciated, and we got to pass this history on to the next generation. Thanks for coming along. I'll see you again.